wind along pit road here, flanking the pole sitter Stacy Compton. Excited to have his best starting position in the history of his career. Let's take a look at how they line up. Got Compton up front with Andy Houston, the youngster, alongside. His best previous start was 12. And then you've got those champions behind them. Jack Sprague, the defending titleist, and Ron Hornaday with 18 career victories, tops all time. Mike Bliss like to get something started here for the 98 season. Started racing here in open wheelers back when he was a USAC champion. Curtis Markham, no sponsor. Last race if he can't find one. That's pressure. Rick Corelli. Rick is a 6-time winner on this racetrack. More experience here than anybody else. The road racing star Boris said with a good qualifying run. Mike Wallace due for some good luck, starting in 9th spot alongside the former Rookie of the Year Brian Reffner. Then comes last week's winner, Rick Crawford, the victor at Homestead, flanked by Tony Raines, who won at Odessa as a rookie last year. Randy Tolsma also won last year as a rookie. Jay Sauter, he overdrove turn 1 a little. That's why he's back in row 7. We've got Butch Miller, the veteran, alongside the rookie leader Biffle. 15th and 16th, then Tony Roper, the second-generation driver, and Kevin Harvick. You're going to see something from him a little later that'll knock your socks off. Ron Barfield and Dave Rezendes share a row. Rezendes, the new daddy. Joe Rutland, the veteran and track record holder here, 7th in points. The Virginia short track star Jimmy Hensley alongside. Further back through the field, Lonnie Rush, Lance Norrick, Rick McRae missed the drivers' meeting, and as a result, will go to the back of the field. And as you take a look at the rest of this lineup, let's talk about the need to be a little patient, Dorsey, for these guys that are starting in the back.
Yeah, these guys in the back, some of them are there as a result of a bad qualifying. We saw several spins in qualifying. It's going to be a hot day today. These guys are going to have to feel these tires out and this racetrack out and try to get a rhythm going before they try to be too aggressive here.
Number 81, Randy Nelson, is in the field in replacement of Jerry Glanville, who crashed in a Winston West car and suffered a broken ankle and some cracked ribs and a pretty good knock on the head. He was hoping to get back out here for the race today, but they have rearranged the ownership of the trucks there, and Randy Nelson will end up being in the driver's seat. There's your pole speed for Stacy Compton, the mid-race pit stop. And would you predict that by mid-race there will be some guys looking for a chassis adjustment or not?
I would think they'd be looking for a chassis adjustment in 4 brand new Goodyears if I was them.
And maybe a new truck in some cases. As you pointed out at the top, it's a very difficult track for which to prepare. Part of the reason for that is the differences in the two ends of the track.
Right. You look up here at turn 1 and 2. It's a tighter radius corner than down there in 3 and 4. You don't get as much speed out of this corner, but you have more speed coming into it. We said before, this is the corner that's been giving these guys fits. The trucks seem to get in there and get loose in the middle and then tighten up and get to the outside faster than the ones we went to. We got a lot of onboards today, Dave.
Onboard in abundance. You'll ride today with Lance Norrick, who made the show, starts in 24th spot as he moves to Dodge this year. There's the new daddy, Dave Rezendes, the look from his Miller Icehouse onboard camera, starting back there and deep in the field. Butch Miller with the Dana Dodge, number 18, starting in 15th starting spot, determined to go forward here today. Here's Tony Raines, took that onboard camera to victory at Odessa, Missouri last year. Very pleasant rookie surprise. He'll start 12th. We're working our way toward the front of the field and into the top 10, where we find the former Rookie of the Year, Brian Reffner, and he's got that precision gear paint job here for Mike Wallace. Says, give me some luck. I'm starting 9th today. We'll tell you why he feels that way. Here's Boris Sed's view. He got a whole lot closer to that than that turn 2 wall yesterday in qualifying. Ended up with 8th starting spot, but that's still pretty good. And Mike Bliss carrying the Team ASE colors, starting in 5th spot. So ahead of him you see Jack Sprague and Hornaday, and then that front row, that very impressive and somewhat surprising front row of Compton on the inside, flanked by Houston. And Marty, a quick thought from trackside before we go green.
Guys, keep an eye out for the first 15 to 20 laps. Talked to a lot of the crew chiefs. The sprint car race today was on Hoosier tires, different compound. The Winston West guys were all over this place. Everybody's going to be a little cautious as we head for the green.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Cautious? I want to see that. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Green's in the air, we're underway. 4 wide in the back, that's cautious.
Pretty nice run through the first corner. It does actually look like they're being pretty gentle. Oh, look at that, a little bit of looseness there on the outside.
Houston trying to get the lead away from Compton.
not going to happen.
Clean and green, side by side for the top spot as they come under the bridge to complete lap 1.
Thompson's truck looking really well. You saw it come off the corner. He's got the lead now. Doesn't have to worry about that side-by-side racing. That doesn't hold true for these guys back here, however.
They'll start to scramble back into line here, try to get single file as we ride with Mike Bliss and the Ultra Wheels entry back there. He's settled in the 6th spot behind the rookie Curtis Markham. What a great, actually not a rookie, Curtis Markham. Well, yeah, technically he is because he didn't run 5. He ran last year, but he did not run a full 5 races.
A lot of guys in the garage area talking about Curtis running good all weekend long. He's been up at the top. As we see Mike Bliss right now underneath him, approaching turn 1, he's going to have that pass made before the corner.
Top 4 working out front. Ooh, into the wall goes the 50. That is Biffle. Truck's on fire. The rookie point leader, top 5 finisher in the first 2 events of the year, has whacked it hard in turn 1 and 2, and there's a lot of fire there. He'll be coming out in a hurry.
Yeah,
you
he
can
will.
see him moving around in there.
He's on the way out already. That's a pretty smart thing to do right there. That truck is still burning underneath the hood pretty badly.
Major disappointment for Biffle. His qualifying run was only so-so, but his season has been outstanding. Round 3 did not last very long for Greg Biffle. We were working lap 3 when the Granger truck went up the hill and slapped it pretty hard. Let's see if...
Oh, he's hit the wall there. That's not direct. That's up before. That's turn 4, the exit of 4 coming on the front stretch. This is the wreck that's going to happen. It's going to happen here. That's turn 1. You see he's cut a tire. He's headed up to the wall right there. Hits hard. That's going to break an oil cooler line or something, which is going to ignite this fire here.
So he comes off 4 and basically goes all the way down the straightaway with the tire going down, but not able to slow the thing down. That's got to be a pretty helpless feeling.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. That tire went flat and probably blew the liner right when we saw those sparks come out from underneath the right front. The liner probably let go, and there's no steering it when that happens, and bang, he's up into the wall. Hard hit, too.
Well, yeah, and he's lucky with a hit that hard that he was able to, in fact, hop out that quickly. Didn't need any assistance from the safety crews, although everybody was there quickly and got that fire extinguished. Not the problem it might have been, but a scary moment nonetheless, and a big disappointment for the Cintas Rookie of the Year point leader. So we're under an early yellow. Let's get in a commercial break, and we'll be right back at Phoenix. Back. Lance Norrick's truck appears to be preparing for the restart under full power after they had to go under the hood. He had a look at Biffle's mishap here.
There's Biffle already. He's been up into the wall on top there. He'd already had his problem. Of course, the problem started in turn 4 when he compounded the wall over here, and that's what took out the Goodyear tire. We didn't see that now. We'd seen it earlier. That took out the tire. He ran on the inner liner the full length of the front straightaway, and of course that can only last so long, and then it cut down to it.
And the yellow can only last so long, and this one, we'll have a report, is over. We're about to go back to green. They have a lot of oil up there from where that oil line was cut, and so they had to make a couple extra passes with the speedy drive, and now the pace truck is about to pull in, and Stacy Compton will bring them back to the line to start lap 10 on this 150 lapper. Green's in the air.
They slowed him up pretty good there. It's a new thing for Stacy to lead the field around, so good restart by him. Look at the shuffle back here, though.
Scramble to the inside. The black 52 is Mike Wallace. A little different paint job on that truck this week as he tries to work his way up through the top 10. Now they go 2 and even 3 wide at that tough, tricky exit of turn 2.
And now it's got the speedy drive, and it makes it even trickier yet.
His way around Sprague to take over that 3rd spot, drop Sprague back to 4th, right in front of our onboard view from the Team ASE Ultra Wheels entry of Mike Bliss, who sits in 5th.
You know, as a driver, for all this action that happened so early in the race, some of these guys got to be thinking right now, hey, this is a 150-mile race. We got to be around a bit longer than what we're doing. We can't run like this.
A tough dilemma in any kind of motorsports. Go fast, but be careful. Contradiction in terms.
Yeah, it is.
You know who impresses me so much is Andy Houston. He had that great run going at Hartford, or at Homestead in the last race 2 races ago. Number 60, this rookie, son of the legendary Tommy Houston, comes here, qualifies 2nd, and is really very confident, cool, relaxed. He seemed to be very calm in that interview at the top of the show. Yeah,
you talk to Andy down in the garage area. He's a real mellow guy. He's laid back. Of course, he's grown up around these things all his entire life. And so he is probably just that. He's probably comfortable as can be. This is his world.
We got some of that from Dad, too. Tommy won a lot of short track races over the years, and now is very proud to have this opportunity for his son. It really is a racing family, and I'm sure we'll have more opportunity to talk about that because I got a feeling he's going to run up front all day. We saw Crawford making a move on the inside of a 2-wide battle there, trying to move up for the so-so qualifying run here. He started 11th today.
Back of that group is Chuck Bown in the Cunningham entry now. He's in there for just a couple races. He's taking it a race at a time and giving it a good run today.
Good look at Resendiz in the number 55, and behind him the 61. And that, of course, is Randy Tolsma.
Good racing with Boris said there alongside with Joe Ruttman. Ruttman actually alongside Boris has just made that pass. They qualified side by side back there, so they're racing pretty hard there.
Ruttman didn't qualify well at all. 21st on a track where he has run well. He's had 6 appearances here. That's how many times the Truck Series has run here. He's been in the top 10 every time, so that's a pretty impressive record of consistency shared by Sprague and Hornaday. Compton, cool, calm, and collected out front, has led from the drop of the green in the 86 out of Hurt, Virginia, the Ford.
There's a pass of Sprague right now, goes underneath Bliss, taking that position away.
Jack Sprague with no paint job. Pure white for the Hendrick Motorsports number 24. And that's a bit of a problem. It's a problem at a couple of levels. For Jack Sprague, the defending series champ, it's a bit odd to come into the new campaign without a sponsor. Part of the problem there was that they were considering a Winston Cup effort. Didn't decide until pretty late which way they were going to go. Late enough that a lot of sponsor budgets were already put to bed. But for Sprague, the difficulty is he wants to go Winston Cup. Ooh, look at this.
That's Butch Miller looking out the back of Butch Miller. Right back there behind us, Dave Resendiz in the Ice House Beer Ford there. I don't know the number on the yellow one.
That's Tony, isn't it?
That could be Tony Raines.
Tony Raines.
These guys mixing it up pretty good there.
That battle's been going on for a couple of laps, and now here comes the 61 battle with Resendiz continuing as we see Randy Tolsma move by. Now, don't be confused about that truck. Apparently, on a previous telecast, somebody called that 61 truck silver, and IWX drivers from all over America called in and said, no, 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 it's taupe. It's taupe, ladies and gentlemen. So watch the 61 truck and remember, it's taupe.
Not to be confused.
Yeah, I've wondered all my life, and that's what taupe looks like. Now I know. Yellow truck in the middle, the ortho entry there of number 35, Ron Barfield, qualified in the 19th spot, now sits in 20th. He's lost one.
Brian Refner having a look now, trying to get underneath the car of Curtis Markham.
Look out, Curtis.
Rub a little bit in here.
And I'll tell you, that is tight. And here comes Raines looking for the next spot. Markham is going backwards. He had a good run at Homestead, and it was a late last-minute deal. They kind of threw a motor together, threw a crew together, and said, we're going to get out here and do what we can. And, uh-oh, trouble for Keselowski. The number 29 Dodge of Bob Keselowski, 5th in the points. The Mopar Performance entry is limping over off turn 2. That is a big disappointment.
And he has had a very rough week. He just didn't get anything out of the car that he wanted. You know, performance just hasn't been there all weekend long for him. And now it looks even worse than that.
Got it back in gear and started to take off again. That's 2 Dodges in trouble because Norwick, number 90, is also on pit road. Well, here's a scramble. This is 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and others. And Mike Wallace is leading it for the moment. The 32 of Markham, of whom we spoke a few minutes ago, has slipped from 6th back into that battle.
You know, it looks like Markham's unable to get his truck to the bottom of the racetrack. He's seen he's on the top side, and he's being passed by everybody down low. He's had opportunities to duck down. I don't think that car can turn down. I think it's real tight. As we hear, there's a yellow flag coming out.
Yeah, Keselowski's not going to make it back around, and that will bring out the caution from Chris Morgan. 21 are in the book. We're working 22, and there is the reason. Disappointment for the 5th-ranked driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Second caution flag of the afternoon. We'll take a break and be right back. We're back. Phoenix International Raceway getting set to go back to green after the second caution. A brief one to push the crippled Bob Keselowski Dodge back onto pit road. And we will resume with Compton at the head of the field and Houston on his tail. A couple of youngsters in this series. Compton, a contender for Rookie of the Year last year. And Houston, a contender for that honor this year. So far, they've kept Hornaday and Sprague at bay. Back to green, back to action. There's Crawford, your most recent winner, sitting in 10th spot, up one from where he qualified. Here's the charge off the difficult turn 2.
A lot of racing going on side by side there. They'd like to get in single file if they can, but they can't because nobody's giving away to anybody else. It's Boris said alongside of somebody back there.
That was way close.
Oh,
now wait a minute. Maybe we had a little bit of a premature green here because now they're reporting some liquid on the racetrack in turn 2 that will immediately bring caution 3. They got just a lap in. So what's up with Keselowski, Marty? You been able to track that down?
Well, we've tracked it down as best we can because the team's still trying to track it down. They believe it is an ignition problem. They cannot get the car to fire, and the hood is up. The guys are working on it, but they're a little bit baffled right now. Can give you an update on Stacy Compton. He finally radioed in, said, hey, guys, truck feels good, just like practice.
All right. That's good news for Compton. That thing was quick off the hauler and has been very good through 3 days of preliminary activity here. They gave him a full day of open practice on Friday, and some were good, some were bad. Compton was good from the get-go. I thought Hornaday was going to wear that truck out trying to figure out why that 16 wouldn't go around the racetrack.
boy, and he wouldn't for a long time. He struggled. He was back around 10th place and really getting it hard to do. But as he always does, Hornaday got it worked out there for qualifying and put it right up there, right up front.
Yeah, we're under our third caution of the day. We'll remind you to fire up your laptop and stop by NASCAR online, www.nascar.com. As you know, this is where NASCAR fans have an exciting opportunity to cast their cyber vote. We're going to select the Future NASCAR Legends Award and then present it at NASCAR Night in Hollywood. That will happen on Friday. You will see it on Saturday, May the 2nd. And they're going to have all kinds of entertainment celebrities, athletes, musicians commemorating NASCAR's 50th anniversary and recognizing the evolution of the sport from its southeastern regional roots to the fastest growing spectator sport in America. It happens May 2nd, 7 o'clock, only on ESPN. That's the telecast. The event is May 1st. The only place you can see it live would be in the infield at California Speedway. If you have tickets, they're going to pump it live into the infield, so you ought to come out and watch. It'll be very much fun and a whole lot of cool. This is, well, that was Butch Miller, who during the last commercial break radioed into the crew and said, if we can, what did he say, loosen it or tighten it?
No, he had to tighten it up. I guess the thing is just not, I'm sorry, you got to loosen it up. He can't get it to turn, and we've seen that on a couple of trucks already, that they really got a lot of push on them. And they were just trying to calm him down and just say, stick with it, you know, don't wreck the thing, we'll get it fixed when we can. And that's what they're going to hope to do. The
word they used was, if we can loosen it up a little bit, it'll be a land rocket. Marty, what else you got down there?
Well, Rick McRae just went back out. He's got a boiling radiator, and you can see if you might be able to see some fluid coming out from underneath Doug George's truck here in pit lane. It looks like they've also sprung a leak. They are going to work on this truck. It has been one of those weeks for Doug George. So right before the race, he says, man, we have been chasing it all week long. And he says, right now, it doesn't look very good that they're going to get any improvement today.
Disappointment for a couple of the West Coast guys. Doug George, a contender for Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. Rick McRae, a veteran of West Coast racing, but a rookie in the truck division. Finally made a race. He had missed the first 2 of the season, but qualified for this one, then missed the drivers' meeting and had to start out back. He has had mechanical problems as well. The cleanup continues over in turn 2 with Stacy Compton and Andy Houston leading. We'll take a break and come right back to Phoenix. We're back. We have just gone green. They're into turn 3 for the first time since the restart. No change in position among the top runners in the field, although Sprague made a real run at Hornaday, and that run continues down the front straightaway, and they're beating and banging a little bit. Contact between the 2 former champions. Hornaday will hang on, but now Sprague's outside him in 2.
Well, we were talking about this before. Didn't we say that these 2 guys were going to be the first ones to mix it up? And here they are. Of course, they're still not outrunning their lead cars. But this year, I'm going to go over here. They're still leaning on each other. Bang, bang, bang.
This is serious. These guys are out to well, potentially crash a truck over that third spot. And that surprises me a little bit. Give it to Sprague over Hornaday. That was an awful lot of contact for this early in the event. Napa Field summary. We'll run them down for you. And note that the numbers in parentheses on the right are starting positions. You can see who's going forward. Harvick is notable, 18th to 13th. And we'll take you all the way back to the field as the action continues here. Working lap 31 and just back to green after the third caution of the day for debris on the racetrack, or liquid actually on the racetrack. Here's your top two. They've been out front from the get-go.
I was about to say, look at those two rookies. They're hooked up in tandem, just driving as clean as can be, while all the veterans are back to slamming and banging.
That makes a good point. Here's the 19 of Tony Raines as that battle continues. He's been in a war all afternoon long. Racing there with the number 66, the former Rookie of the Year, Refner, and that is for 7th and 8th position. And Crawford behind him is 9th, having picked up 2 spots. Then Wallace rounding out the top 10.
Here comes Sauter back there, too. He was having a look with Ruttman. They still are. They rough paint right there. That's not over yet.
And Ruttman into the top 10 from a not-so-impressive 21st starting spot. So they've figured out a few things. We have confirmation Biffle will retire. They were trying to fix that truck, wanted to get back out, trying to get some points. Apparently can't get it done. Well, jumping Jack Flash. Here comes Sprague going after the kids up front.
Well, I tell you, Andy Houston did such a good job, but not this time. He's going to, unfortunately, I think there's no way Sprague's not going to go by him on that. He set him up going out of 10-2. He'll have the good run going down now into 3 past Nate Freeman.
Obviously, Sprague decided it was time to turn up the wig. He fought Hornaday hard for that third spot. Once he got it, he went right after Houston, drove by him without much contest, and hats off to Andy for being smart enough to let him go. And now it's Stacy Compton, who is dead in the sights of the number 24.
Well, for whatever reason, it surely looks like Sprague's truck has come in. He wasn't that strong for a long time, but right now he looks to have the fastest truck out there.
Is that all tires, or is there more to it than that?
I think it's more tires than any other thing. I really do. I think that his chassis probably has just burned off enough fuel now, and the balance has come the way he likes it. You know, I talked to him early on, and he said that it's racetrack he usually owns it. He's been struggling.
Marty Reed.
Well, one of the other things is we talked to Sprague, Bliss, and a lot of these guys, and they said for some reason this week at Phoenix here, the longer the run, the better the truck came back to them. So it may be the factor that we're going to see the rest of the day. They'll want those long runs.
At number 15, moving over and out of the way, is the lapper of Morgan. Rob Morgan being passed by the leaders as Compton tries to hang on. The only driver ever to win from the pole here at Phoenix. Compton was today's pole sitter. Only guy ever to win from the pole was Sprague, and he's done it twice. Second race in '96, first race in '97, in the middle of that 3-race win streak here that helped earn him the nickname Big Track Jack.
Well, he might be that, but I'll tell you what, Stacy Compton, he just doesn't care much about that, I guess, because he's driving really a nice race right now.
That was the 61 of Tolsma in 14th spot from out the back of the Dana Dodge of Butch Miller, who is into 13th spot. He started 15th, so it's not a land rocket yet. Here's Sprague, and he's going for the lead.
Yeah, not much you can do. Right there, he had that fender, you know, he had his fender right in there on the quarter panel, and you got to give it up, either that or pay the consequence. Stacy wisely chose a ladder.
Sprague said yesterday that his truck was very, very fast on old tires. Oh, look at Houston now. He wants that second spot away from Compton. A couple of short track veterans right there mixing it up on the big track, and Hornaday honking the horn behind him saying, I don't want Sprague to get too far away from me here. Houston had a notion, couldn't execute it.
I think we've got enough laps now that the trucks have all come in. Everybody knows what they got, and it's time to go race. It looks they're after it now.
Sprague bragging yesterday about how well his truck looks on used tires, old tires. He said the problem is it isn't any faster on sticker tires. We can't figure out why. Theoretically, if you put new tires on, it ought to be a better truck, and his wasn't in practice yesterday, and it confused them a little bit. They also felt, this was before qualifying when we had that conversation, they thought they were going to struggle in qualifying, but he ended up third. I guess for Jack, that's struggling at this place.
You know, I had a similar conversation with Mike Wallace. He said that they ran all of their practice sessions on used tires to try to get the race truck good, you know, in the race, so it's fast there. And he also thought that in qualifying he'd give up a lot. Oh, we got a little smoke coming out of the back at 32. That's out the exhaust pipe. You see it on the left side. It's heavily breathing there.
That's bad news for Curtis Markham, the Virginia short track veteran. Went up north, did a couple of years in Busch North, then came back down south and did the Busch Grand National deal in a Lysol car for a couple of years. But looks like number 32's got trouble today.
Boy, and he has run so well all weekend. That's a shame.
Tough deal for Curtis Markham. There's second, third with Hornaday in pursuit for fourth. The battles continue all the way back through the field. We'll take a commercial break and be right back with more. We're back at Phoenix. The trucks are racing. It is the Chevy trucks, NASCAR 150, and Refner is rocking and rolling and trying to get to the front. The number 66 started 10th. He's up to 6th, and he made a heck of a run during the commercial break at Mike Bliss. Couldn't get around him.
Here he comes.
Well, I'm going to take another shot at him here. Bliss has kind of been parked in 5th all day. Hadn't made a move either direction, but he's going to have to wick it up a little bit, or Refner's going to go after him.
Refner actually had that truck alongside of Bliss, and Bliss pinched him down. He had to get out of the throttle, lost a lot of ground, but now he's got it right back there again.
Second generation Charger out of Wisconsin, getting right after it. We talked about the 4th and 5th place finishes in the first 2 races this year for Biffle, who's already had trouble. If you just joined us, he clobbered the wall on lap 3, but Refner did that same thing the first 2 races of '96 and never looked back. Went on and won the inaugural Cintas Rookie of the Year award, really without a whole lot of competition, and then was promptly fired and had to go find a new ride for the following season.
Sometimes it's just unpaid to do a good job. I don't know what that's about.
Well, he shouldn't feel bad because he was replaced by the veteran Joe Ruttman, who ran to 2nd place at the championship points, and then he got fired. So maybe it's just a hard car owner to work for. I don't know. You know who the owner is.
Yes.
You know all the trouble in Talladega.
Look at this race. This has been going on for a while, too. That is, in fact, Ruttman in the middle of that. There's Sauter down in the 3-car looking underneath. That's a 10th place battle going on. That's the Daycut's Mike Wallace. You're riding with Mike Wallace right now as they look at these two. Away goes Ruttman.
That's a good race.
That's a good race.
And the guy who's got the best of it is the 3, and that, of course, would be Jay Sauter, who's on a pretty good roll here lately. Jay's had, what was it, 8 top 10s, I guess, in his last 9 starts. Coming off a great run to 3rd at Homestead on the anniversary of his bell ringer crash there a year ago. So it looks like that one's getting things sorted out pretty effectively. I thought Ruttman was going to be able to show some stuff here as he came from 21st to 11th, picked up 10 spots in a hurry, but now he's kind of stalled out there. He can't seem to pick up any more than that. Marty's going to talk to Curtis Markham, so that's a bad sign. It must be terminal, huh, Marty?
Yeah, he's out of the car. Curtis, first off, what put you out?
It looks like he broke a camshaft. Unfortunately, we qualified good. Now, everybody worked real hard on this Active Truck Series team to get us here. We had a good motor in, lost it in the last practice yesterday, so that cut our practice short. We put this one in, and I guess it just won't make it there.
It just emphasizes how much you need that sponsor, right? You can't run up front, but you need some more dollars.
Yeah, that's true. We're out of motors there, so I guess we'll be parked for a while until somebody comes along and gives us some help.
Cubic dollars equals cubic horsepower, guys.
Yeah, they've been on a bad roll with motors. They had trouble at Homestead, and then 2 engines this weekend. So for Curtis Markham, help needs to be on the way, or they're going to have to park that truck. Here's 10th, 11th, 12th. That battle continues. You see the gap up to the number 6, which would be in the 9th spot. Pirelli, we haven't seen much out of him. Meanwhile, this little squabble continues for 5th and 6th. Well, here comes Refner, making another run at Bliss.
Refner did the same thing as he did before when we were on break. He got alongside, got pinched down, lost a little ground, but now they're in heavy traffic, and he's being very aggressive. Refner, I would think, to get alongside here at Bliss. Watch this. I think he'll get a look underneath him coming out of 4 if he can.
To get occasional glimpses that indicate that this battle has pushed them a little closer to Hornaday, or perhaps Hornaday has slipped a little bit in terms of his pursuit of the leaders. The Napa Field summary shows you where all the favorites are running, who's going forward and who's going back. Get a call to Dominic Dobson. You saw him in 24th spot there after qualifying 28th. It's the first time he's made one of these races as he works on the transition from IndyCar open wheel competition to a big heavy truck, and a tough transition that is. Yeah, there's Hornaday, and he's got a handful of those, but the point is not that they've caught Hornaday. The point is that they've caught both Hornaday and Compton. Or I should say Houston and Compton.
Yeah, that's a 5-car battle there now, and it's a give and take situation every time they get off the corner. Looks like these a couple of those are tight. You see it pushing up the hill, one of those being Bliss. It looks, however, to me, as Ruffner can run right on the bottom, but he's pinned. Here he is on the bottom, as a matter of fact, as he comes off that corner.
Ruffner made a point yesterday when I was talking to him about the difficulties they were having in setting up the 99 truck. He said, you know, if you set your truck up the same way as another fast guy, when you catch him, you're gonna catch him but not be able to pass him. If you're both good in the same place, you'll never get around him. Doesn't look to me like Bliss is very good up at that end of the racetrack, but he's still just enough, just strong enough to be able to hold Ruffner on.
Yes, he's tight. This truck pushes up the racetrack. That allows Brian to put his nose underneath him there. But by putting his nose underneath him, he loses speed doing that, and he doesn't get the run off the corner. He needs to get alongside down here to turn one.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Heck of a race. What the heck happened to the leader? Marty, you overheard some radio traffic a minute ago that I'm kind of curious about. Jack Sprague has checked out on this field, but I'm kind of curious about what the crew are saying about the truck. Report we had was Sprague thinks it's tight. Well, if it's tight now, they get it right. It's going to be tough luck for the rest of the bunch. Again, Ruffner alongside. I wonder if he's not going to be able to make it this time.
Yeah, I think he will. He's got enough of a run now. They'll have an equal drag race. I tell you what, he pinched it down. I think it loosened up on him that time.
Yeah, I think it did, and he about got into the side of Bliss and took them both out. Nice, the proverbial nice piece of driving by the driver of the car on number 66 to keep it out of the side of Mike Bliss. Ruffner doing a good job.
He had enough speed to put it down in there, but of course with all that speed, they had to check up, otherwise get inside of Bliss's truck, and he didn't do that, so that's good for him.
They're going to put Lonnie Rush a lap down here. That's the number 10 truck. He hit the wall coming out of turn 4 in his qualifying run yesterday so hard that he broke the right front suspension, kept his foot in the gas, came the whole length of the front straightaway to the start-finish line, crossed the line 23rd. That would have been one heck of a qualifying run had he not broken the truck rather badly. And then, of course, they had to rebuild it, and obviously it didn't as good today.
How many times have I heard that before?
All right, there's your leader, Jack Sprague. Don't you stink up another Phoenix show. You've done that too many times already. We'll be right back. Back live in Phoenix, where Jack Sprague has just passed the 500 laps led mark, and where last week's winner, Rick Crawford, has just passed Mike Bliss, like Bliss was stopped. The number 2 truck is struggling.
It's fallen back quite a way. We were watching that run with Ruffner before. Ruffner and Bliss went side by side for 2 entire laps. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but it does a lot of tire damage, and I think it took its toll right there on the Bliss truck.
Crawford immediately closed up and went around as well, and I think Marty can update a couple of those stories for us.
Yeah, let's start it off with Rick Crawford. Talk to the crew. They set the truck up deliberately tight, knowing that the longer run towards the break it would loosen up. It's playing into their hands. You can see he's moving up. On the other side of the coin, Ruffner's crew is telling me he's starting to say that the truck is tightening up on him on the exit of the corners, especially in 2.
2 is the trouble spot that everybody talks about. Barry Dodson is the crew chief on the number 2 of Mike Bliss, and he says it's just like Darlington. It'll push coming off of 2, and you can hit the wall over there very easily. Even though you don't actually complete that corner, it's a dogleg racetrack, and as you come off 2, the track actually angles out away from the start-finish line a little bit, making it a less severe corner, but it's still a real scary spot because of the way the truck wants to push right into this area as you come off the corner.
And you know, Brian kept trying to get underneath Bliss every lap for probably 10 laps by driving on the bottom of the racetrack. That took tremendous heat in the right tires. And to try to hold it down there so it doesn't push up into the side of the other car, puts that more heat in those tires. I think probably if he backs down a little bit, that tightness probably will get away. It comes back to him a little bit, I think.
The question is whether Ruffner will accomplish that before or after Crawford passes.
He'd like to slow up.
Right there.
He'd like to slow up, but he doesn't know that Crawford doesn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Rick's thing is definitely come in here. He was 11th in the circle bar Ford, and now he's up to 6th and going the right direction with it. That truck behaving very well. there's the battle for track time. Roland Melodico, the crew chief for Rick Crawford. His victory at Homestead was his first as a crew chief since he and Rod Osterman, the owner, and a driver named Dale Earnhardt won together back in 1980. Of course, Earnhardt went on to win the championship with that team with Melodico as the crew chief.
I'll tell you, it's really something else. Phoenix is the only racetrack these trucks visit twice a year, so they have more races here than any other racetrack they run on. Yet the guys were telling me, every time you come back to this racetrack, it's a completely different setup. You come back here thinking you're going to do well, and even like guys like Jack Sprague said he struggled all weekend, and he's been the guy, and he is the guy right now. As a matter of fact, it's running away.
Well, he seemed so perplexed yesterday before qualifying. We were talking about the sticker tire issue. They couldn't figure out why the truck wouldn't work on stickers. Their practice qualifying run didn't go particularly well. They didn't think they were disqualified that great. And then he said, you know, I used to own turn 1 and 2 at this point. Now I can't even get around it. That was yesterday. Today is today. He has pulled out to a lead of nearly 3 seconds over the second place.
Oh, we got trouble. We got a car up high back there.
We got the wall, and that's Bliss.
It is, okay, we're getting reports on that. I don't know, that is Mike Bliss. I saw him head up the racetrack all at one time. I don't know if he's gotten, the wall doesn't look like it from the in-car view.
Running? They said the engine blew.
Car's not wrecked. The truck's fine. I think it might have blown an engine.
Yeah,
we're hearing reports of that. So
radio traffic indicating that it's a blown engine. In any case, he did bring out the 4th caution of the day here, and just short of the midway break. The midway break is not specifically at lap 75, so they may go ahead and get it in here. Let's go to Marty.
Well, the problem with Bliss is fuel pressure. It showed 6 pounds. The light came on, and then the motor went dead on him. So they've got a real problem here, guys.
Yeah, we're looking at the red light on the dash right there. That could be oil pressure light, or that could be the fuel light. But that is strange for one of these to lose fuel pressure. We're not even near halftime right now, so it shouldn't be out of gas.
I thought I heard him say the motor's blown anyway and take the gloves off. So.
We do have an oil trail leading to the truck. As you see that.
Bring it right here. Don't try to fix it. Go on down there and show them where to bring it.
That's Barry Dodson saying we're going to try to fix it.
Barry Dodson, my crew chief on a couple of races, a great guy, a really good crew chief and the leader of a team. All right, we can take a look here. What happened to Bliss? You're in car with Bliss here. You don't see much happening. It looks like it's lost power, though, like we talked about.
Getting up out of the way.
Yeah, he just pulled it up to the wall. That's what we thought he was in trouble. He was just getting out of the way, leaving some room.
The option, of course, was to go to the bottom, but there were lots of trucks down there in the lower groove, so he opted to bring out the caution instead. So we are under yellow, and we'll take a break. Be back in Phoenix. Back at Phoenix under yellow because of Mike Bliss perhaps running out of gas. That seems unlikely. More likely some sort of fuel pressure problem. Remember, he did run out of fuel in the series opener with about 2 laps to go at Orlando while leading the thing. This, I suspect, is perhaps a different problem.
Yeah. We heard him talking there for a minute. They're working on the wrong end of it for it to be out of gas. I can tell you that.
Exactly. You see he's trying to get it fired up. We're about to go back to green. The single lead change of the day saw Sprague pass Compton, built a 3-second lead. Now that disappears. We're back to green. You know that Hornaday got around Houston, took over the 2nd spot.
And now
Compton, I should say, and now is ready to go back after the leader. That happened just before that caution.
How many times have we seen this scenario before? Hornaday now goes by Jack Sprague, and he's looking at a halfway money coming up here in just a few laps.
Got that Gatorade cash waiting as they run to mid-race and prepare for the break. And Hornaday may have foxed Sprague here.
I don't think Sprague's going to lay down for this for 1 minute. Watch this. This is going to be a good battle.
This is it, though. This is the lap, isn't it? I believe so.
You're correct.
Halfway flags will be out, so if Sprague's going to get him back, he's got about half a lap to do it. I don't think so. Hornaday about to pull off another miracle here this weekend.
Oh, looks high for the high side. I don't think that'll work. He's going to give it a go, though.
He's going to try it, though. This is the 2nd time today they've been touching and banging on each other. Half a truck length, the interval to halfway. They did not throw the caution. This is not the mid-race break, so they're still racing.
Actually, we're going to get
Hornaday got into it big time as they get out the backstretch. This is a terrific battle. This is still under green. We've got a truck in trouble. Oh, that's Bliss going back out, but going slowly. This is a ferocious battle up front. We are past the halfway point, and now the yellow flag comes out at the end of lap 76. Hornaday got the midway money, then held on for another lap, and will lead it as we go to the mid-race break. We'll get in the commercial break quickly so we can cover all the pit stop action when we come back. A wild finish to the first half at Phoenix. Speed World back at Phoenix, preparing for the restart after the mid-race break here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Chevy trucks, NASCAR 150. Got all that straight? Cool. Here's your leader, Ron Hornaday, with Jack Sprague behind him, and then Stacy Compton, the pole sitter. Field kind of forming back up as we run you through the Dodge race recap. Hornaday led just 3 laps, but it was an exciting 3 laps as he battled with Sprague. 2 lead changes, not a lot. Sprague looked like the toughest truck out there. Average speed pretty ordinary because we've had a lot of yellow. Compton led it for a long time, and then Sprague led it for a long time, and then Hornaday made it pretty exciting right before halfway. And my question to Dorsey Schrader is the likelihood that battle is going to be renewed. But I'll tell you what I need to do first is get down to Marty real quick before this thing goes green. Marty?
Well, went down to Joe Ruttman's pit. You know, he's the oldest one out here. Always complains about he needs to take that pit stop to go take care of business. So Ron Hornaday got him this. He's got his own cane now with a mirror and a horn, and of course a little old man caution sign right down there at the bottom. And the horn does work, guys. We're off to the races.
Ruttman doesn't give much slack, does he?
He doesn't deserve a lot. You're right about
Ask
that.
Wallace.
Now, about that battle you were talking about, we're about to see, and I bet you're exactly right. This should be one heck of a go. Hornaday takes the green.
Here we go.
Away.
Missing in action from that bunch up front. Bliss, who's yellow, set up the big confrontation between Hornaday and Sprague. Their trouble was apparently permanent.
Another truck we might want to take a look at that started in 8th positions, Boris said, and he's had a not so good front run. He dropped all the way back to 22nd. The last car on the lead lap, so obviously they had to do a lot of work on that truck. Maybe they'll get it right for him.
Here's a problem you see a lot at Phoenix. That sun starts to go down and it'll blind you. There's Boris.
There's Boris now going down into turn 1, and that sun will become a factor in the next half hour as it drops lower. And every time you go up to turn 1, 2, you can't see anything. And there we go.
Here we go. Hornaday is alongside Sprague.
Boy,
I'm not going to try that.
No, he said no. You're not going to get into that deal.
I may be tough, but I'm not done.
Those guys go after it pretty good. I'll tell you what, they really do.
As Barfield got the out of the Ortho truck, get out of the way, Ron. He is clear as Compton and Houston come side by side. This is the way they started the race on the front row. Compton was your pole sitter. Andy Houston, the rookie, comes up to challenge him for 3rd.
And Raffner
right there with him.
Raffner right in the middle of that, too. And that was I don't know if that swerve across the racetrack was a defensive move after we saw that Brian was putting the heat on or what that was. But Houston being entertaining now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Houston's an entertaining guy. He's the youngest of the sons of Tommy Houston. We're talking about the truck that's actually 6th in line there with the lapper. But it's the whole family operation. I mean, Dad runs the shop. It's Dad's old shop where he built his race car. Big brother is the crew chief, and the middle brother works on the trucks. It's just a great family story. Here's Crawford making a move around the outside of range. Marty, he's come to life here.
Yeah, the truck was slightly tight. They say the low line for him is really greasy. So at the half break, they took 2 pounds out of the left side tires and 4 pounds out of the right side.
Wow.
That is a big, big change. 4 pounds is a heck of a big change there. And in the back of that, I saw Boris said that we alluded to before. They made some changes on him. We don't know what they are yet, but he's back in the hunt anyway. He's on the lead lap still.
I wonder if they made the right move on the number 14 of Crawford, because he's got his hands full now with Raines, who's trying to get by him on the bottom. This is the race for 6th spot, and it's a good one. Sauter is behind them, and then comes Wallace.
Well, the bad news for that is if he gets trapped up high there, well, there, as I say it, he's got the move made. If you get trapped up high with all those guys in line, you can drop back a lot of positions.
I think he's in the same position that Bliss was earlier. He can't keep the truck on the bottom of the hill.
Hey guys, let me give you the update on Tony Raines. He says right now he's pretty loose from the center of the track out, but that it tends to get tighter in the second portion of the race. They're worried that they may have too much rubber in the right rear.
Well, we talked about this Phoenix racetrack and how how tricky it is to set a truck up, or anything else for that matter, to run on both ends equally, and then we get into the tire wear issue, and whether you set your truck up to be real tight when it's full of fuel and to get better as it goes on. And in this case, it's just the opposite. He sounds like he's too loose, and it wants to get tighter as it goes on.
For the moment, Crawford has the better of it and pulls away from Tony Raines, 6th and 7th. Sauter stuck behind Raines in 8th, trying to turn in his 9th top 10 finish in his last 10 spot. 10 starts. Oh, he is number 3. Give a call to Rutland, who is up into 9th position now at the 99. So apparently the mid-race break did help him a little bit.
He's a bulldog. He doesn't give up. A little tap there. Tony Raines getting a bump by Jay Sauter. It pushes him up. Maybe they want to work in tandem. That's an old IROC trick, I believe.
Raines in the Pennzoil entry. It's a Ford this year. It was a Dodge last year. Kurt Rohrig's operation, which he is gearing up to take the Winston Cup. He hopes Tony Raines will be his driver. Tony certainly did a lot to inflate his stock last year when he won that race at Odessa, Missouri as a rookie.
Right up the street from my house. And it was a good race, too. I'll tell you what.
It was. He didn't back into that one. Here's how they look up front. The white truck is sprayed. Then comes Hornaday. Compton and Houston have been there from the get-go. Very impressive.
I was about to say, I'm impressed with these two guys, not only this weekend, but in Houston's case, had a marvelous race run in the Homestead. And with the little experience he's got, he's really putting on a show. Watch it now. They're going to run side by side, it looks like, here in a minute. Yeah.
Houston was following Corelli. They were running 1-2, and this was deep into the second half of the race at Homestead. There was a crash. They went to pit road because they needed fuel down there because of the length of the race. And Corelli asked the pace truck on pit road. And poor Houston followed it, and they both got knocked a lap. And Houston said, man, he's been doing this ever since the start. I figured I was okay to follow him. Tossed him a lap, and the potential to win the race.
Yeah, but he vowed he won't do that again. I heard him say that.
He learned his lesson. Addington Coal, the sponsor for that operation, and Mr. Addington's got himself a pretty good organization to work with right there, having bought the Houston team. We'll take a break and be right back. He is currently 19th, and he is in a battle. And the guy he's battling here is Boris Said, and they've been at it for a while.
So Dave Resendez is driving the Tom Gloy entry, and Boris Said right behind him, an ex-Tom Gloy driver. And that's Wayne Jacks up there on the top side. And I'll tell you what, he's taken over Kenny Irwin's ride with the Liberty Racing Group, and that's 3 of them. They wouldn't do that, would they?
We got a little fire out of the number 10 truck of Lonnie Rush as they went by. Wayne Anderson, the son of Nicky Anderson, who was described yesterday in the garage area as the Dick Trickle of Florida. Anderson's dad has won a ton of short track races and is now a car owner.
Now this is getting dicey. Looking on board Boris Said as we look right now. Resendez trying to work underneath. Little shows you how bad. Oh, and Boris has gone underneath now. That's going to be tight.
Anderson, did he not hit anything with that? That was unbelievable. He managed to gather it back up and didn't hit anything. But what a wild ride it was. Wayne Anderson in the Porter Cable entry. Jim Herrick, Brad Doherty owned truck. Got her way inside.
He must have just slid past the end of that concrete barrier where the track opens up, because I thought for sure inboard with here we can look at it from, oh my God. Yeah, that's a save.
Man. Watch
the end of the wall here. That was some fast hands right there. That saved him. I saw when Boris went underneath there, I thought for sure I was going to see a bang and Boris go around backwards. That was a big save.
Only lost one spot in the process. Not bad. Anderson could do some driving. He's got Troy Selbert working on that truck. Troy from the Winston Cup Wars. Ooh,
oh, it's loose again.
Around.
Loose.
Look out.
Ooh.
Wicked loose, I think.
Wicked loose. That's what you call that, all right. That could be a result of the big slide for life he had up there in turn 2. That puts big heat. Now we got a caution flag out for some reason. That puts big heat in the right rear tire when you get that slide for life going, and you get down to the next corner and it just gets worse again. Don't have an idea why the caution's out.
Anderson had moved from 30th to 20th before that big adventure.
Piece of debris there.
That would be the call.
That's a big piece of debris, actually.
Yeah, that's a good-sized chunk. 6th caution as Sprague continues to lead over Hornaday. We'll take a break and come back with more from Phoenix. Sure is a pretty day in Phoenix. It was not so pretty in Martinsville. Race rained out. Goody's Headache Powder 500 will air tomorrow on ESPN at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 a.m. for those of us who will be out here on the Pacific side of the world. Pole sitter Bobby Hamilton will lead him to the green at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, preparing to go back to green here after a quick pickup of some debris on the racetrack, and we'll return to action on lap 97 of 150 here in the Chevy Trucks NASCAR 150. Been an interesting and action-packed event, dominated thus far by Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday after they took the advantage away from the pole sitter Stacy Compton pretty early on.
Taking a look on board with all our in-car cameras there. We've got a lot of them in the field. Of course, said that we're riding with right now. Getting ready for a green, and we're back to a green.
Banging gears and headed for the green flag. We're back underway. Great jump there for Sprague and Hornaday. Hornaday will come around the outside. Man, he is the king of restarts.
Those two guys don't mind mixing it up. I'll tell you what, they really get after it.
Hornaday is so good at that. And this time he's just driving away from Sprague. Quickly opens up about 3 or 4 truck lengths, and the 35 there in the middle of the mix is Ron Barfield, the former protege, a lap down.
Barfield spun in qualifying, so he had to start pretty far back. So he has not had the weekend he would like to have.
Compton finally works his way. I didn't get around. Works his way alongside. Houston with him.
And then Ruffner back in there again.
And Rick Crawford, last week's winner 2 weeks ago at Homestead.
On board with Tony Raines, looking at Rutten once again as we come off of turn 4 over there.
Rutten has moved around Raines in the last lap to take over the 8th spot as he continues to try to march forward to the 21st starting spot. Got the first 10 in a hurry and then found the going a bit more difficult. 3 wide. Look out, boys. We've got trouble with big-time smoker, and I believe that is going to be number 18, Butch Miller.
Poor Butch. It looks like he's exploded.
What do you think that's wrong with it?
He didn't have much to say on the radio.
No, really didn't.
I think the smoke tells it all. And we'll bring the yellow for the 7th time today. They're thinking Butch probably put some oil down out there. He is safely out of harm's way and stopped, taking the gloves off, but the track is apparently a little greasy up there in turns 1 and 2, and that's one place you do not want to hit the grease, is between turns 1 and 2.
No, and you see that much smoke, you can almost bet your britches it's going to be a mess up in there.
Almost 300 grand on the line. Butch Miller's not going to get a very big piece of it today. Marty?
Yeah, and it's not it's really been sort of a bad couple of weeks. Right after Homestead, Butch and his wife took a nice little boat cruise. And, well, they sort of lost their way, and they wandered into restricted area at Cape Canaveral, and they were held for 3 hours. And Butch tried to explain that, hey, I'm a taxpayer. I didn't realize I was in this trouble, and they weren't buying it. So it's not been a great couple of weeks now for poor Butch.
He'd been a lot worse off if he flew his airplane into that space. I'll tell you that
You
much.
betcha. You betcha. So Butch the Sailor is dry docked for the remainder of this afternoon. We might as well slide another commercial break in here as Hornaday and Sprague prepare for what looks like another Phoenix shootout. Stay tuned. Hornaday, master of the restart, keeps Jack Sprague at bay as we get right back to green here. Lap 103 of 150. So far, it's been a pretty interesting battle between those two up front. During the commercial break, we were speculating about the likelihood that those two will make it all the way to the finish. If they continue to beat on each other, as they have on occasion today, will decrease the odds of that. Stacy Compton and Andy Houston sit in the 3rd and 4th spots with a bird's-eye view of the action up front. They've had that view most of the day today.
That's a reversal of the qualifying positions. The front 2 rows reversed. You see the 37 truck down there on the bottom. Scott Walters. That smoke you see is just a kitty litter from cleaning up the oil from the blown engine of Butch Miller.
Seth trying to work his way through the traffic as we get back underway here. We've kind of had a start and stop event here with a lot of yellow, 8 on the day. But for the most part, they've been short. The most serious incident of the day was on lap 3 when the rookie point leader and third-ranked driver of the series, Greg Biffle, tried to knock the wall down up there in turn 1 after slapping the concrete coming out of 4. Got to the other end and the truck wouldn't turn. Flat tire. Compton about 2 truck lengths back on Jack Sprague. Sprague in turn about 3 behind Hornaday. Compton has been able to run with these guys all day. In Houston, the rookie has not given them an inch. He's been there from the get there, really running a savvy race today.
And with all the paint swapping between Sprague and Hornaday, that's probably a good place to watch from. I could see a win coming out of that third spot place here.
Hornaday got one that way in the season's opener when Ruttman got into Wallace with just a few laps to go and put him in the wall. Hornaday got through it, got to second, and then the leader Bliss ran out of gas. That was as wild a 5 laps as I think I've seen in motorsports. There's Ruttman, tail end of Ruttman from the Reigns viewpoint as that battle continues. Those guys have been hooked up all day. They're now 8th and 9th.
Well, now we got Sprague in the hunt as he's looking underneath Ron Hornaday. Doesn't get it done yet, but now look down the back stretch here. He goes. He's going to drive it in there deep. Nope, backs out. Oh, he had to back out. Lap traffic. That was
Stewart took the line that Sprague wanted, so
that was a good setup by Hornaday there.
Yeah, exactly. Sprague get off in traffic.
Yep.
Hornaday mentioned or alluded to the fact that he's got a tremendous amount of experience on this racetrack. He's been come here a long time in Winston West and so forth. Sprague's been here 6 times, been top 10 all 6.
He's owned this racetrack. I don't know about today. It looks like these top 4 guys are pretty equally matched.
Goes by him there, and now Hornaday took a look trying to do that Earnhardt passing back thing, but they did not have the truck to do it. I'll tell you what, Sprague looked very strong to me right there.
Yeah, he really does. Houston having to look now underneath Compton. He might want to try to get up there and mix it up a little bit.
Hornaday trying to scramble his way back. 5th is Ratner, 6th is Crawford. 7th is the number 3 of Jay Sauter. For more on Compton, let's go to Marty.
Well, guys, we picked up some interesting radio traffic. They told Stacy, stay smooth, save the equipment, be patient. It's going to come down to tires.
That actually is a very, very wise thing to do because these front 2 guys, Hornaday and Sprague, that's something that Hornaday almost always does. He always rides around back there and you don't think he's really got a good truck. And then at the end, he puts it on because he's got better tires. But he's not really doing that right now. He's running pretty hard with Sprague. I would like to see these guys back down just a little bit and save some tires for the end here.
Kevin Cram calling the shots for Stacy Compton. Got a compliment from his driver there at Midway. A lot of confidence in that organization. They've been together a while now and are starting to get that confidence in one another's decisions. It's so critical to success in motorsports. They've added feed the children to the side of the truck for this event, and that means that Stacy's going to be in the company of Troy Aikman and Garth Brooks, Johnny Cash, B.B. King. Motorsports and music kind of joining hands there to round up food for hungry American kids with a worthwhile cause.
Looking out of the back of Refner's car, Crawford continually trying the high side to try to get a run up on the top side. See, as he does it right there again. Kind of leaves him vulnerable because right underneath him in the back there's a whole bunch more guys that want to come up.
He's got Jay Sauter in his mirror there and Ruttman right behind Sauter, so there's not much room to make a mistake there. Crawford trying to get back to the front, having won last week. I watched Mr. Rush yesterday. I didn't even get the question out. He grins and says, confidence is high.
That should be.
Great to win in this division. Got just a race in a year after his debut this week.
And he's gotten so competitive just getting in the field's one thing, but winning your first race is always something you can't forget. Being competitive, think about that here. Top 8 guys within 1/10. That's pretty competitive.
That's serious. But for Crawford, it's a real turnaround from 1991 when his all-pro team was kind of sputtered and missing a little bit. And he was thinking, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm not just going to be a guy who shows up. He said, I don't want to be one of those coming up on lap traffic types. And he got a savior who came in the form of Tom Mitchell, bought the team and provided the sponsorship money from Circle Bar. They moved the whole operation up to Georgia. And they've been there ever since, and the success just continues. It's getting serious as he goes after Refner, and Jay Sauter's ready to capitalize if these 2 guys follow.
Get any closer than that, there'll be a bobble. I guarantee you. That's pretty close.
5th, 6th, and 7th. You're looking at it over the tailgate of the 5th place truck.
And Sauter's playing a little bit of a waiting game here. You know, when you're the 3rd truck back like that, you get a huge pull down the straightaway, particularly if one of these guys gets alongside of, you know, if Crawford decides to pop out and get alongside the other truck. Good pull on that. Marty's got something on Sauter.
Guys, the one thing about Jay, remember, he ran the Winston West race. He's been in a race car or a race truck for the last 4.5 hours. And I asked him if he was worried about fatigue because it's about 88 degrees out here today. He said no. He said running last year at Sonoma, where it was a road course, was much more demanding. He says, I'm going to be good to go to the finish.
We promised you some more information in that same vein about Kevin Harvick. Harvick is currently running 14th in the Spears manufacturing truck. He lost the Winston West race by 2 1/1000ths of a second for Rich Woodland Jr. It was a dramatic finish.
Crawford just had a moment right down there in turn 1, just like we talked about. The truck broke loose on him, right? He had a big wiggle. Good save by him, but he almost lost that position. It was a great save. Truck getting a little loose, it looks like to me.
And I'm glad that you picked up on that while I was looking for the margin of victory in that ancient history race that's already over. And Sauter, by the way, is currently running 7th. That equals his best Phoenix finish ever. He'll try to improve on that when we come back after the commercial break. Note the time change for Reese Davis and the RPM Tonight crew. They'll be in at 10 o'clock Eastern time to tell you about the rain out at Martinsville and the rain out in the drag race in Atlanta, and to show you all the highlights of the truck race and everything else that happened in the world of motorsports this weekend. 10 o'clock tonight Eastern time. 27 laps to go. We should document the fact that Bob Keselowski has been in and out of the pits about a bazillion times, but continues to circulate in 33rd place. The leader is working his way through traffic. That would be the number 24, not the number 57. He's just put Chuck Bound another lap down. Bound, of course, having lost the Roush Racing ride out here in the Cunningham historic entry today. Sprague is pulled away from Hornaday now, reinforcing that theory about that truck being better and better on used tires, and setting up the possibility that he's going to be able to add his 4th career victory at this racetrack. That would be no big surprise. I think a lot of people came here expecting Jack to win. Hornaday was not one of those. Hornaday thought he was going to be able to handle Jack today, I believe, and probably still has that thought in his mind, but I think he needs a caution.
And as it's been almost predictable, the only thing that was really nice about it was the front row there. The rookies running 1-2. Of course, talking about Andy Houston and Stacey Compton.
There's Rick Corelli running an 11th spot in the Remax Chevy number 6. They blew an engine here on Friday, had to stay late and repair that, and then it cost them some time and all the other hassle that goes with that. But they got the truck pretty good. They were happy with it yesterday when they qualified. Ended up 7th on the grid, but he's backed up. Currently is an 11th spot. They figured out that he's run something like 2,800 laps on this racetrack, and he's won here 6 times. Ask him, do you like this place? And he just grinned and said, oh, yeah.
You'd have to put that many miles on it.
It's drove those Southwest Tour cars here and those style cars to 3 wins in the Copper World Classic. A lot of good runs. His best in a truck here has been 5th. And he said he's currently 11th, and he's been in an ongoing battle with the 61 of Randy Tolzman, the Tote truck. Number 61, the IWX entry. Not silver, it is Tote.
They look awful equally matched. They've been in that position for most of the day, just running. They can't seem to make any ground or lose any ground. They're just right where they are.
Meanwhile, this battle continues as we take you back through the field summary. That is Ressler, the 5th place truck, from which you are seeing the 6th place truck of Crawford. Behind them come Sauter and Rutschman, and then Raines and Waddles. A lot of these battles have been going on for quite some time now. Guys just not able to move forward. Terry Cook deserves a call. He's gone from 33rd to 16th this afternoon. That's good progress. You saw Pound go left down a moment ago, but he had gone forward in terms of position on the racetrack from 29th to 21st. So that's a good run.
And this is what you want to see when you're in a 5-car battle for position. Lap traffic. That's all you need now to mix it up. Look right here. Crawford's trying to work in a new direction. This isn't the first time. Doesn't make it work that time either. But they are definitely, both of them, going at it as hard as they can.
You know what, we're getting down to the short end of this deal. They will put lap 130 in the book. This time by, that means 20 for Hornaday and anybody else to come up and make a run at Jack Sprague and prevent him from taking yet another Phoenix victory. If he wins it, it'll be his 8th.
Well, somewhere in the next, in the next 10 laps, the crew chiefs will be on the horn saying, okay, if you are saving cars, if you did save cars, all right, there we go now. And we'll see what happens.
The interval from first to second is now over a second, 1.11 to be specific, and then it's another 2.5 seconds back to the Compton-Houston battle. So this thing has shaken down in the last 7 or 8 laps. Sprague has been able to stretch it out. Hornaday couldn't run with it, but in trying to do that, Hornaday has pulled away from 3rd and 4th. So we may begin to see here what we had expected: the dominance of Sprague, the determination of Hornaday, and the surprisingly consistent runs from the youngsters who started up front.
My hat's off to those guys. They've done a stellar job all day. It's not like they haven't been under pressure either. They were under pressure in the lead for a long time. Now, even though they're running 3rd and 4th, they're still battling each other every lap. So doing a fantastic job.
There they are. Stacy Compton and the RC Cola Ford, and number 60 Andy Houston, Mike Addington Racing Chevrolet.
See some fire coming out of Houston's car. That's just overrun on the engine. He had to get out of the throttle on that lap traffic for a while, and the flame came out. No problem there.
Number 10 was Lonnie Rush that they just lapped. Lonnie was a protege understudy for Bill Elliott for a while, and then that deal went south. The same is true of Ron Barfield, who we've seen a couple of times today. A couple of Elliott's proteges are now in the truck division. Wishing they were Jerry Nadeau, who ultimately got the call when Bill tapped his backup for Winston Cup competition. There's the 10, pulled it down out of the way. Man, I'll tell you what, if he hadn't hit the wall yesterday, Lonnie Rush's weekend would have been a whole lot different.
He was right there up until this little problem with the wall. You know, he could have qualified in the front row. He thought he could.
17 to go. Let's get in a commercial break. We'll come back and see who's going to win the Chevy Trucks NASCAR 150. Stay with us. Timing is everything. You'll always want to see the lead change. What happened in the span of 3 laps? Ron Hornaday carved a 1.25 seconds off the lead of Jack Sprague. The name of the game is save your tires. They are side by side for the win with 12 laps to go.
That's exactly what I said. Somewhere in here, somebody's going to pull the trigger, and when they do, you're going to see who's got what left. Here it is right here. You got Ron Hornaday right alongside Jack Sprague, and they're bumping.
Right into the side.
Right into the side. Again, right into the side.
They have been hammered on each other at every opportunity all day. It was outrageous at the midway point, and now it's happening again. They are serious rivals for race wins and championships. They are 2 of the most determined race drivers in America. And right now, there is not much to separate Jack Sprague and Ron Hornaday. Let's get more from Marty.
Well, guys, remember in the first half that Sprague said it was tight? Well, now he's radioed in just before that he started losing that lead. He has gotten very, very loose.
With 10 to go. Sprague with a loose truck. Hornaday's truck has really come in. That charge started about a lap and a half before we went to that commercial break, and during the commercial break we sat here and watched him just carve away at the lead. When we went to commercial it was 1.11 seconds, and when we came back they were side by side. That's how quickly Hornaday reeled Sprague in. Jack had the lead 29 laps, and then Hornaday came alongside, but he was able to fend him off. Now they're 10 to go.
When we see those little bumps, they don't appear to be hurting those trucks at all. We can see them slam side to side like that. But we heard Hornaday at the halftime say that he had bent his fender in and he lost the front downforce on that. These little bumps can do that. These 2 trucks could fall victim to mishandling, and watch what's behind them still.
Yeah, the gap back to the 3rd place truck is about 3.5 seconds, and they're probably safe, but it sure could affect the outcome of the 2-truck battle here, because you don't have to whack that fender much. A little bit of downforce. Of course, these guys are in that adrenaline mode now where they'll try to drive through about any problem. The loose handling 24 going going up the hill. That looked more like push than loose. Maybe loose in. He couldn't get the truck back down to the bottom, and Hornaday couldn't capitalize on it.
I'm not too sure Hornaday hasn't decided it was too early to go. He's just feeling him out right now, because I think he could have actually driven down underneath right there. Sprague got up on top of the racetrack. I think Hornaday could have got a momentum run going. I'm thinking right now he's going to wait about 4 or 5 more laps and then put it down.
Playing for one last chance. That may be the strategy for Ron Hornaday. Dave Despain here with Dorsey Schrader, enjoying the final few laps of action at Phoenix International Raceway. The Chevy trucks, NASCAR 150, winding down. The leaders working their way up into some lap traffic. Jack Sprague slipping higher and higher up the racetrack, and Ron Hornaday sitting back there like a vulture, about 4 truck lengths back. This is going to be exciting. This is what the big crowd in Phoenix is paid to see. Another classic duel here in the diamond in the desert.
Look at that. I'll tell you what, not sure what the strategy is yet, but I bet you'll know real soon.
Well, Hornaday sure does look to be able to set up the bottom of the racetrack. It looks like Sprague's having a lot of trouble doing that. Here he comes alongside with the lap. Wayne Anderson on the outside. They'll go 3 wide. There's no touch. Hornaday has the run down the front straightaway with 5 to go. He's got the position. Sprague is a stubborn man. He'll take him up the hill into the loose stuff, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. Wow.
That's exactly how you do that. He just drove him up the hill. And I think right now you're going to see Hornaday take a big run. I think he's going to step on it and get as far ahead as he can. We'll see if he's got enough left down Sprague.
I think he just ran Sprague out of truck. There's just not enough left in the 24 to stay with him. It does not appear with 3 to go. Ron Hornaday, masterful strategy, and give the crew a lot of credit. This was a truck that didn't work very well yet until yesterday morning. Fred Graves, the crew chief, had to sleep on that one, he told me. He got to the racetrack yesterday and had the combination all figured out. He woke up with it in his head. They came in, they changed 2 or 3 things on the truck. They built a couple extra sets of shocks and the backup to make sure that they could reinforce the plan that they had or tweak it a little if need be. They didn't need it. They slapped on that set of shocks. The truck was good. Hornaday qualified in the 2nd row. And now, when it matters, Ron Hornaday has turned up the tap to drive around Jack Sprague and is looking for his 19th career victory. That is an impressive display of teamwork, cooperation, and effort.
We saw him in some pretty heavy lap traffic right there. Hornaday able to move the truck up and down the racetrack as needed. So he's got a lot left. I don't think the same for Sprague. He's back there still behind, lost a lot of ground. I think Ron Hornaday has really done a good job all day.
2 to go. They're going to be all but tied for the championship standings. These 2 veterans came into the race just 8 points apart. And now Hornaday headed for the white flag next time by. The battles continue back through the field. Stacy Compton looks like he's going to be able to hold off his rival for position all day, Andy Houston. There's the white indicating 1 to go. And there's the gap back to Sprague. It's over a second now. As Hornaday does exactly what you said. Once he made the pass and he timed it perfectly, he's just been able to drive away from Jack Sprague. I think Sprague saw it coming, put up token resistance that time. He was not going to crash himself out of 2nd place points. And so Hornaday will bring it on turn 4. The checkered flag waits at Phoenix International Raceway. The Chevy trucks NASCAR 150 is won by Ron Hornaday over Jack Sprague. Compton will come home 3rd over Houston, and Crawford got to 5th.
Oh, man.
Ooh, Refner got way sideways, but Raines couldn't get around him at the end. And so Refner will actually lose the position in the last 5 laps because getting around both those guys was Joe Ruttman. We'll have the complete rundown for you as the Hornaday crowd have reason to celebrate this afternoon. Ron Hornaday has won here at Phoenix International Raceway. The mastermind behind this effort is with Marty.
Yes, and radio's just jumped in here, and they're getting their quick comment. Fred, congratulations. You guys chased it all weekend.
Yeah, we were really junk on Friday, and we found a few things on the computer Friday night when we looked at it. We tried them Saturday, and the truck was just there all day yesterday, and Ron just did a good job today. Just held in there.
Saved those tires till the end when he needed them, right?
Yeah, we wanted our tire wear real close in the first 75 laps, and I told him we had plenty to go. Just go ahead and race for it.
Hey, we got to go to victory lane. Let's go.
Let's go.
And meanwhile, Ron Hornaday is putting on a show for the folks in the suites. I would bet Napa's got a suite up there somewhere. Ron's going up saying thank you to the folks who pay the bills. That's pretty cool. Hornaday, his first victory in 7 tries here at Phoenix in the truck, is headed for victory lane. Quite a day here at Phoenix International Raceway. We're going to hear from the winner, hear from those who tried and came up short here today. All that right after this. The party is ready to begin in victory lane. Let's go to Marty Reed. Go.
And Ron Hornaday has pulled in and is just climbing out of his Napa Chevrolet. Well, we're getting a little bath down here, but that's okay. Oh, we're getting a big bath now. Come on down here a second. You guys chased it. We talked to Fred. He found something on the computer. You drove masterfully because you saved tires at the end, didn't you?
Well, I don't know if I saved tires or not, but I tell you what, this Napa Chevrolet ran awesome all day. We came here and tested, left the trucks out here after the last race, and we tested, and I tell you what, Fred Graves, this whole Napa team, well, awesome. I mean, this Chevrolet just run flawlessly. We did save them, but we didn't, you know. The first half I got tight because Jack and I ran at each other going into 3, and then they said, all right, all we got to do is just pull that fender back out, we'll be good. And then started getting loose the second half, and I went, oh no. So I started driving my whole line and making thing push. And when I seen Jack slip, I said, it's mine. I got to go up there and got in the corner, and mine was starting to get loose. I got a little air push and got loose and got him high. And got to thank Teresa Dale, Action Collectibles, they're #1 in diecast. And God, that's unbelievable.
He was loose too at the end there. It looked like track really went away from both of you.
Well, he set a heck of a pace, you know. That's why he's masterful at this racetrack, and nothing happier to have Chevrolet finish 1-2 here. And I didn't see third. I didn't want it. Well, Jack was big enough back there. But I got to thank Motories RV. They got us in motorhome, and I tell you what, me and my wife are having more fun just staying in that thing. We get more relaxation right now. Now look, come out of this thing and can have a lot of fun.
This really helps you in the points championship too there. You realize that.
Well, I'll tell you, that's all we shoot for, and that's what Dale Earnhardt and Teresa Earnhardt just keep pumping. Gonna say hi to Ty and all the guys back home. I hope Steve gets better, and gotta thank all the fans. I tell you what, it's awesome to come Phoenix. I won almost every division there was out here, and I haven't got a truck race, and now we got one, and unbelievable. I love it.
Well, you're looking at your new points leader after 3 rounds. The winner, Ron Hornaday.
2 wins in 3 starts in 1998 put him at the top of the heap. He spent 9 hours washing that motorhome on Thursday, got it all spiffed up, took it out to dump it, and doggone if the dump wasn't down at the end of a dirt road. He was so mad about that all day yesterday he could hardly talk. At Phoenix International Raceway, Ron Hornaday has won the race, taken over the point lead, and a guarantee there's no place he would rather have beaten Jack Sprague than right here today. That was a big psychological win for him.
You know, Jack Sprague has won so many races at this racetrack. A lot of guys say, well, he's just not beatable. Well, today he was. And this is the man that did. He did a great job today.
Hornaday did a great job. Sprague drove very well. I mean, let's give him full credit for his performance today, because that truck was way loose at the end, but he held on for second spot. Compton, the pole sitter, finishing 3rd. Houston, the rookie, superb. From 2nd to 4th, that's not losing a whole lot of ground in this kind of company. And Crawford, last week's winner, proved that was no fluke because he came to a top 5 finish. Sauter's consistency continues. Ruttman was able to go forward from a rather ordinary qualifying effort. Refner had a decent day. Raines and Tolsma rounding out the top 10. And then further back, some of the guys who had difficulty today. Dobson deserves a call. First truck race he's qualified for. And he picked up 9 spots during the course of the afternoon. Anderson survived the, what'd you call that, the slide for life,
yeah.
and came out of it with a top 20. Bad luck for Keselowski and Biffle. Significant among those group because they were in the top 5 in points, and Bliss also because he's a perennial contender for the championship. So as we expected, it was kind of an up and down day for a lot of guys. Let's go back down trackside where Marty's in the middle of the party.
Yeah, we've caught up with 3rd place Stacy Compton, and you gave it a good run. I know you wanted to win, but you never backed up. I mean, 3rd's as far back as you went.
Well, you know, we're a little disappointed, but we can't be disappointed with the 3rd. I mean, you know, it's Royal Crown Ford ran great today. Royal Crown coming aboard. There's a huge bottler out here, Khalil Bottling. We've done some shows with them, and, you know, it's a good area for Royal Crown. And, you know, we're happy with the 3rd, but we're not satisfied. We had a solid run all weekend. We were quick. You know, the guys done a great job. We let those 2 guys go early because we'd gotten real loose, and we knew if we battled them a lot, we'd lose a lot more positions. And figured we'd make some adjustments at the halfway break, made some adjustments, and really felt like we had something for them. But I got caught up in lap traffic and let them get just a little bit too far away. But, you know, congratulations to Ron. Great run for them. keep your eyes on this Royal Crown Ford. I think we're going to be a good team this year. Kevin coming aboard, David Hodson's the greatest owner there is, and we're going to be good this year.
David, as you said earlier, confidence in this team is high.
Thank you, sir.
They earned it today. I thought he said it pretty well there, that they're happy with third, but they're not satisfied with third, and that's the right kind of attitude when you're trying to build a winning race team.
And I agree with his statement that you're going to see more of this Royal Crown Cola Ford, because they have really impressed me. The last couple of races, they're doing one heck of a job.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to doing a bunch more of these with you. This has been a pretty entertaining afternoon.
It's been a great afternoon. I love it, and these trucks put on a real good show.
We had a great time out here in the desert enjoying the warm sunshine, but back on the other side of the world, of course, a lot of rain around the eastern seaboard, and as a result, the racing will continue. Tomorrow, we'll have the NASCAR Winston Cup race rained out today at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That will be live on ESPN. The Goodies Headache Powder 500 rained out today, scheduled for tomorrow. The chase for the 50th Anniversary Cup continuing here on ESPN. Also want to remind you that the drag races were rained out this weekend, but we will have qualifying right after this show. And real quick, let's get to Marty.
Real quick with Andy Houston and his young son, Colin. You gave it a great ride today.
Yeah, really we did, and had an awesome truck. First of all, I'd like to wish Rick Grin's daughter a happy 16th birthday. Today's her birthday, and just want to do that. But we had an awesome truck, and they do a good job, and we're just looking for build on this momentum.
Guys, we got to go.
Hi, congratulations to Ron Hornaday. We'll have qualifying from Commerce, Georgia, the NHRA Fram Nationals. Immediately following this telecast, our thanks to Marty Reed for a great job down trackside. We've enjoyed the work up here in the booth today with Dorsey Schrader. Hats off to Ron Hornaday, who won it and took over the NASCAR Craftsman Championship point lead. I'm Dave Despain. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.